It is 4:30 on WKYT this morning. After passing away earlier this week, funeral arrangements are now set for a civil rights giant in Kentucky, former Senator Georgia Powers.
Animal rights supporters will gather in Frankfort and urge lawmakers to pass several bills that call for high protection.
And despite improving over the last 2 weeks, the Wildcats suffered a heat check last night in Knoxville. Coming up, a recap of last night's tough loss for the Cats.
This is WKYT This Morning.
Good morning from WKYT News. I'm Bill Bryant.
I'm Rebecca Smith. A little bit of rain out there.
There is. I'm one of those who stayed up and watched that game last night. Oh, I'm telling you, come on, Kentucky. Yeah, we had some rain that moved through. It was not as bad as we thought was the potential, and that is a good thing. Let's check in right now with meteorologist Micah Harris. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. The best thing for us was yesterday at noontime when we were talking about moving that back a couple of hours there during the night. The longer it went off into the night, the better it was for us. Because you get off into the night, you lose a lot of energy, and that's exactly what happened. So that was good news for us. Still a line of showers rolling on through. There's some gusty winds, 30, 40 miles per hour. The flood advisories across the region, meaning just heads up for some ponding on the roadways, basically. We get into the afternoon right around 50 degrees. That morning rain, afternoon looks good. I'll dive into that in your forecast coming up in about 10 minutes.
All right, we'll see you then. Thank you.
Well, funeral arrangements have now been made for the late state Senator Georgia Davis Powers.
Powers passed away last Saturday at the age of 92. She was known for her role in the civil rights movement here in Kentucky. She was also the first woman and first African American elected to the state Senate to a full term. Visitation for Powers will begin at the Capitol Rotunda in Frankfort at 1:30 tomorrow. It will continue at the St. Stephen Church in Louisville tomorrow night. Her funeral will be there as well. It is scheduled for 11 Friday morning. Lexington police are looking for a man who they say robbed a hotel at gunpoint. It happened just after 8 last night at Bluegrass Extended Stay on Richmond Road. Police say a man walked in, pulled out a gun, and demanded money from the clerk. After getting some money from the register, police say he ran off. No one was injured.
Police have arrested an Ashland couple they say caused their 3-month-old son's death. A Boyle County grand jury has indicted 27-year-old Leslie Daniels and 28-year-old Nora Sawyers on murder charges. Police say the couple's son, Landon, died last summer of blunt force trauma to the head, consistent with shaken baby cases. New this morning, a Michigan pastor will be allowed to testify in a Boyle County triple murder case. Kenneth Keith is accused of killing Michael and Angela Hawkinsmith and Daniel Smith during a robbery at a Danville pawn shop in 2013. Keith's lawyers tried to argue that 4 phone conversations between Keith and the Michigan preacher after the murders were confidential. The Advocate Messenger reports a judge denied the request to suppress the preacher's testimony. 3 of the 4 conversations he had with Keith were recorded and served as the basis for an arrest warrant.
Well, people who knew him say that he was well known and well liked in his community, and they can't understand why someone would want to kill him.
Last night, they gathered at a Garrett County restaurant to remember a murder victim. State police say 53-year-old Shane Thomason died Monday after being shot at the Washington County Livestock Center. Garrett Weimer spoke to some of Thomason's friends during a memorial in his honor.
A Mexican restaurant may not be the first place you'd think of for a memorial, but those who knew Shane Thomason say there are few places more fitting. So they came.
Shane was a very easygoing man, simple person. He liked to be by himself. He liked to do what he did. Didn't like nobody knowing what he was doing. He just took life the way life handled.
Friends and family filled the place, their wounds still fresh from losing someone they say was a great man.
He was one of the best. He's one of the best. You couldn't ask for a better guy. He'd give you anything he had, help you in any way he could help you.
Those who knew Shane Thomason say he would come here to Mariachi's Mexican restaurant every single night. He'd sit right here, they say, sipping a beer with a good friend. Now his seat is empty, but his beer is still here, alongside flowers, pictures, paying tribute to a man clearly loved by so many. Gonna miss him?
Oh, yeah. Terrible.
Oh, yeah. We already do. He'll be honored every day we live.
Things won't be the same without him, they say, but they still have lots of memories, starting right here with his beer and his seat. In Lancaster, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
Kentucky State Police have not identified a suspect nor any persons of interest in connection with that shooting. Well, he had been missing for more than a month, but this morning a lost dog in Franklin County has been found alive. Harvey was one of hundreds of dogs rescued from the Homeward Bound Animal Rescue in Laurel County after police found the shelter to be in awful conditions. In December, Harvey was rescued by Lifehouse for Animals in Frankfort, but only hours after arriving, volunteers say Harvey slipped his leash and took off. Despite the winter storm and weeks without care, volunteers say the missing dog was found yesterday. Minus a broken leg, they say Harvey is in remarkably good condition.
Well, several bills are now moving through the legislature that, if passed, would give more protection to Kentucky's animals. One of the bills introduced would allow veterinarians to release animal welfare information, something that's currently not legal in Kentucky. Another bill calls for stiffer punishment for anyone who owns, breeds, trains, or sells dogs for the purpose of fighting. Animal rescue volunteer Leslie Coffey is urging lawmakers to sign the bills into law to expose the state's growing animal cruelty problem.
I see a lot that the general public does not see. I don't think a lot of them realize that there are dog fighting rings around here.
Well, animal supporters plan to gather at the Capitol Rotunda this morning to show their support of these drafted bills.
A week after Governor Matt Bevin proposed a 2-year state budget, House Democrats say they likely will not approve his spending cuts. The governor is calling for $650 million in cuts, but House Budget Committee Chairman Rick Rand says he does not understand why the cuts are needed when the state is projected to finish the year with a $200 million surplus. The governor says the cuts will help make sure there is enough money for state pensions and Medicaid.
A bill that changes Kentucky's informed consent requirement for abortions is now law. Kentucky Governor Matt Bevin signed the bill yesterday afternoon after meeting with lawmakers who sponsored it. The state Senate approved the bill Monday afternoon. The new law now requires women to have a face-to-face meeting or real-time video consultation with a doctor at least 24 hours before having an abortion. 2 state senators think they can save Kentucky's retirement system, and now the pair from Louisville promoting expanded gaming as a way to shore up the struggling system.
In the past, lawmakers have not had much success in getting expanded gaming passed. This newly proposed bill would allow a constitutional amendment to be added to this fall's ballot to allow gambling, at least let the voters decide on that. But 90% of the revenue made would go to the state's retirement system and to the teachers' pension fund. The remaining 10% of the revenue would go to the state's horse industry.
2015 was a good year for Kentucky bourbon makers. The Distilled Spirits Council said combined U.S. revenues for Kentucky bourbon, Tennessee whiskey, and rye whiskey rose nearly 8% last year. Bourbon revenues outpaced the overall distilled spirits sector. Experts say growing demand for high-priced super premium brands is making revenues stronger.
Well, it is back to the drawing board for Coach Cal and the UK basketball team.
UK jumped out to a big and early lead against Tennessee last night, but as the game went on, it only got worse for the Cats. In final minutes of the first half, Tennessee worked their way back from a 21-point deficit, actually, to cut the lead to single digits heading into the locker room. That momentum carried over into the second half. After a few lead changes, the Vols would come out on top in the end. The final score 84-77. Now, having suffered their 3rd loss in SEC play, the Cats look to bounce back this Saturday against Florida at Rupp Arena. Should be a big one.
Absolutely, an important one. And strong winds and heavy rain caused some concerns across portions of Kentucky last night. Tree trimming companies in the Bluegrass say they were busy taking calls from people concerned about trees outside of their homes. Workers at Dave Leonard Tree Specialists in Versailles say regularly pruned trees have the best chance of surviving storms. Other trees may not be as lucky.
Basically, previously damaged trees that have been struck by lightning a year or 2 or 3 ago, could certainly be an issue, and that's a big thing.
Tree trimmers say trees that have been topped or trees that have any kind of fungus around the bottom are also more vulnerable to damage during storms. A reminder to you that you can track any severe weather along with the latest traffic with the WKYT Weather Plus Traffic app. You can download that for free in the app or Google Play stores. And it's great to have you with us. It's 4:39 here on your Wednesday morning, and WKYT This Morning is just getting started.
More teenagers and girls being diagnosed with ADHD. We'll have more on that story coming up.
Yeah, the rain will start to move on out as we approach the mid-morning hours. Once that happens, what's back behind that? Any cold air? We'll talk all about that coming up next.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with meteorologist Micah Harris.
Well, we have the rain move on through. Storms overnight and into the early morning hours, but then it started to fade away as we approached that midnight hours. And we talked about this yesterday, that the later it moved back into the night, the better we were off. And that's the way it kind of moved through late into the night, right into the wee hours of the morning. And you can see that still over toward the eastern zones. Now we're looking at mainly just a flood concern. And when I say a concern, it's relatively low. There's not really a big flood issue outside, but that's really our only concern as we track throughout the rest of the morning. Let's start with the heavier bouts of rain moving through Manchester as you cross 421, kind of that interchange there. Hal Rogers Parkway and also 421. It's going to be a wet go at it here in the next few minutes if you're about to travel Hal Rogers Parkway. That'll take you down 25 east and then go off into, say, Williamsburg and Saxton, getting some heavy downpours. London, you're getting some moderate rain, but the heaviest rain is now past you, London. Heading eastbound, Hayden, just about, I would say about 30 minutes is when you can expect that. Jackson, another 5 to 10 minutes. The heaviest rain moves on through. You get some gusty winds out of this, too. West Liberty heads up in Morgan County, across 460. Yeah, that's where you're getting the heaviest rain here in about 5-10 minutes there in West Liberty. Add 30 to 40 mile per hour wind gusts. And then once that pushes on through, those wind advisories will cancel as well. So we get into the afternoon. Watch this. We get rid of the rain, right? Mixture of sun and clouds. But we also drop those temperatures. 55 this morning as you're waking up, walking out the door. By the afternoon, kids coming home from school, you coming home from work, it'll be right around 50 degrees. Not a bad day in store. We actually look pretty good toward the afternoon. Then you go into the evening and night. That's when things really chill off. 26 degrees tomorrow morning. So the rain moves out, but much cooler air does filter in. And we get into tomorrow with highs in the 30s, maybe a couple of flurries, not a big issue. The weekend looks pretty pleasant. We're talking about 40s back in the forecast. That is average, and we will take that. Let's talk about your 7-day. 50 today. That morning rain, afternoon looks pretty good. Sun and cloud mix at 50 degrees. And then Thursday, your day tomorrow, is the coldest day. Really until next week. We're at 34 degrees and then off towards your Friday and into your weekend. You have any plans, man? It looks pretty good. Won't be as nice as this past weekend, but all in all, that's above average. We will always take that during the winter, Saturday and Sunday. Your next system comes on Monday off into Tuesday. That looks like a snow shower chance, but nothing like what we went through last time. Okay, this is coming in from the north, and we always talk about the northern storms. There are light snow chances. The southern storms, which kind of gives you those big snow chances. It's coming in from the north, so we're good to go with that.
Good news.
Yeah.
Any case, more winter to go, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, thank you, Micah. 446 here in a couple of seconds, and the nation is continuing to have a problem, many cases of ADHD.
Yeah, a closer look at the latest numbers in today's Mom's Everyday Minute.
More kids than ever are being diagnosed with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or ADHD. According to the National Children's Survey, in 2011, 12% or 5.8 million American children had the diagnosis. That's 43% more than in 2003. Researchers found a surprising increase in ADHD among girls, as well as a jump in diagnosis in teens. This study did not investigate why there's been such an increase. Children with ADHD have difficulty paying attention in class or at home and may be impulsive or prone to making careless mistakes. They are often prescribed with the stimulant drug Ritalin. Other studies have shown that more exercise can help with the condition. For more health information, visit momseveryday.com.
And when WKYT This Morning continues, we're back with much more news on your Wednesday.
Well, now that the Iowa caucuses are over, presidential candidates are now turning their attention to New Hampshire. We'll have a closer look after the break.
4:50 is the time, 10 before 5 on WKYT This Morning. The Iowa caucuses are over. Now the Republican and Democratic presidential candidates are off to New Hampshire ahead of next week's primary there in the Granite State.
Steve Nans has a look at the next front in the race for the White House.
After months of campaigning in Iowa,
it's going to be so important for Iowa.
Here in Iowa.
God bless the great state of Iowa.
The candidates have moved on to New Hampshire.
Right here in New Hampshire.
I need your vote here in New Hampshire.
It is up to New Hampshire voters to weigh in.
Ted Cruz may have bested fellow Republican candidates Donald Trump and Marco Rubio in Monday's caucuses.
So what a victory last night.
But in New Hampshire, Trump leads in the latest polls, and Rubio is expected to be a formidable challenger.
We need to unify the conservative movement and the Republican Party. I can do that better than anyone that's running. We need to grow it. I can do that better than anyone who's running. And we need to beat Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders.
Hillary Clinton won the Iowa caucuses over her Democratic challenger Bernie Sanders by a razor-thin margin.
I am so thrilled that I'm coming to New Hampshire after winning Iowa.
And Sanders, a senator from nearby Vermont, is well positioned to win next Tuesday's contest, which could make this a prolonged primary battle.
We're going to fight really hard in New Hampshire, and then we're going to Nevada, and then we're going to South Carolina. We look forward to doing well around the country.
With the first contest in the books, the 2016 hopefuls are wasting no time courting voters in the next campaign battleground, as a win in the Granite State could swing the momentum once again. I'm Steve Nannis reporting.
The head of the Environmental Protection Agency says it is committed to providing safe drinking water to the people of Flint, Michigan. Gina McCarthy toured the Flint water plant yesterday and spoke to local pastors about the toxic water problems. McCarthy told reporters her team is on the ground and committed to fixing the issue. She said the priority is to recoat the water pipes in order to prevent lead-poisoned water. In the meantime, a federal EPA enforcement order sticks in place both the city and state as they're working to try to provide safe drinking water.
That EPA wants to be assured that we can say with our sampling and our verification that this system is safe.
As for a specific timeline, McCarthy says only science can give an all clear there. She adds that children under 6 are most at risk and should only drink bottled water. Others should only drink the water if it is passed through a filter.
Well, health officials in Texas have confirmed the first U.S. case of the Zika virus was transmitted through sexual contact. The announcement comes a day after the World Health Organization declared the Zika outbreak a global health emergency. Health officials say the person in Texas had not traveled out of the country but had sex with someone who had recently been in a tropical region where that virus is circulating.
It is no surprise that there may be rare sexual transmission of Zika. There have been a couple of cases in the world literature before, but the overwhelming way that Zika spreads is from a mosquito.
There are more than 30 confirmed cases of Zika in the U.S., all of them but the Texas patient were infected overseas. So far, there are no reports of Zika virus being transmitted by mosquitoes in the U.S., and we would hope that the time of year that it is would kind of cut down.
Oh, you would in this country, at least, you would think so. Right, our time this morning is 4:53, and coming up, we'll take a look at some of the stories we're working on for you this morning.
Also have another look at your morning forecast.
Welcome back into WKYT this morning. 4:56 is our time on your Wednesday.
Let's take a look right now at some of the stories we're working on for you this morning.
A triple murder case out of Boyle County is preparing to go to trial. And coming up at 5, we'll look at developments that call for new testimony to be heard and why the defense disapproves of a judge's decision on that. And the weather this morning has certainly calmed down after we had some heavy rain in the area last night. We managed to avoid any severe weather, and that was a good thing.
Yeah, and it was good sleeping weather, Micah.
It really was, because the lightning actually faded away before it really made its way into the region. So not only did we get rid of the severe weather, but the later you go off into the night, the better likelihood of getting rid of that severe weather. And this is still passing through, and here we are knocking on the door of 5 a.m. So things really worked out for us. If it had come through 2-3 hours earlier, then we're talking about severe storms, but luckily we managed to pass that. The back edge of this, look where that is, right across Frankfort. Frankfort, another 30 minutes, you'll be done with all the rain. Lexington, I'd give it another hour or two, and we'll call it quits as well. So western edge is now moving east, so is the heaviest rain, and we're going to be getting into what's back behind this, coming up with another 2 hours of WKYT News, just a couple of minutes.